let's talk about New Zealand music. Interesting conversation over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, let's get into this one.
People who are listening to the audio podcast, we're about to watch the clip. Everyone's probably seen this over the weekend of Minister Chris Bishop. I will read out the words as they come out, so because you can't hear very well from the audio. So this is Minister Chris Bishop with what some people are claiming is a skinful, right? Just so we're clear. What a load of crap.
It's the way he says it too, it's got some real venom to it.
Yeah.
Māori, get down!
Yes. Performative acclaim. Let's all stand up. And then Don McGlashan calls him a dickhead.
There's someone that should have got a King's birthday on him.
I've interviewed Don McLean on one of my podcasts. We had a great debate on
Don McGlashan.
Don McGlashan, sorry. We had a great debate on how far is halfway down Dominion Road, because now Dominion Road has Dominion Road extension. Apparently someone of their own accord put a bronze thing into the ground, and the fight's always been, well, that's not halfway down Dominion Road because Dominion Road now has Dominion Road extension. So that's what that was all about. Now, look, I think that this is really... I think what you hear here is the government's rhetoric around Māori issues anti-tiriti. For someone to sit there as a minister and say, what a load of crap, and then try and sell it that it was being too politicised. I mean, NWA, all they did was political. Sex Pistols, about the Queen, all they did was political. To say that we shouldn't be politicising music...
it's dumb, Pat. It's so dumb.
But do you know what it's done today as well? And I listened to it, and it was like listening to an 80-year-old shout at the clouds. I listened to Plunkett on the Maorification of New Zealand music and the public money. This kind of thing shouldn't be happening. Like, honestly, it sounded like a drunk old uncle trying to figure out a way to spin this as best he could for an audience that wanted red meat. To me, it's indicative, the comments, of two things. I would be surprised if there wasn't a lot of liquor under his belt.
Yeah.
People are reporting he had a beer in his hand. Because the way it was said, that's a cricket commentary from someone in the stands who's been sitting watching the cricket all day, drinking all day. That's what you hear about a dismissal that's just been given. It's the drunk guy up the back of the stand. So I guess I have to be careful not to say he was, because maybe he wasn't, but it certainly comes off as that. And there have been other reports to say that, which does also raise the question. They were very quick to talk about Tory whānau when it came to alcohol issues out in public. What about this one? No problems, no big deal, no nothing. If he was pissed, I'll say if, just for my safety. And yeah, the idea of trying to then sell the idea that you shouldn't be politicizing that kind of thing. Have you never listened to a band before? Do you know who Midnight Oil is? It's like...
I tell you who he does know. He's a big Shehad fan.
Oh.
Went to four of their final run concerts.
They're not
sang all the songs.
When he went... that's what we should have done.
When he sat there and said that music shouldn't be political, and I know he's a Shehad fan, I was like, do you listen in a way that's different from me? Do you realise that one of their more recent albums is pretty much shitting on the government that you were part of? Like, did you miss that? Are you unaware of how political music has always been? Like, you mentioned Midnight Oil. I mentioned Shehad. I like punk music. It's all fucking political. Herbs. Dave Dobbin's got political songs. Everybody in New Zealand music's got political songs. As far as fucking Oliver Plunkett banging on about Maorification of New Zealand music. Hold on, bruv. Who was doing music in New Zealand first? Can we talk about the re-Maorification of New Zealand music? How about
I
that?
tell you,
Some of our biggest artists have been
I'll tell you
Māori.
one of the one of the best things to come out of that conversation is now they're all now those people with those tinfoil hats and beyond are all on Luxon's back. Do you know why? Because Luxon said, if I see Maorification, I'll call it out. And guess what?
Yeah.
He hasn't called this out. So, right, I mean, like rightfully so, but this is where they get into a little stupor. We have a bit of a news story to watch here about it as well. Let's do this, because this is about the response to it and what actually went down, and the Prime Minister's response.
The Prime Minister says he's comfortable with Chris Bishop's response after the senior minister
Well, he's
was
always
caught saying,
fucking
"What a
comfortable,
load of
isn't he?"
crap," at the Aotearoa Music Awards. The remark was made during a performance by Stan Walker, which heavily featured Toi Tu Te Tiriti banners. Producers of the awards have since responded, saying the comment had no place at the ceremony. Christopher Luxon told Breakfast he's had a word with the minister.
People have lots of different ranges and different reactions to music
word.
and what they
Good
like
one.
and don't like. I like a lot of country music. People don't sometimes, I find. Look, he said, like, he should have kept his thoughts to himself. I'm comfortable with that.
I was frustrated and annoyed by the sort of overt politicking around it.
Can you pause that there, Pat?
Yes.
He was frustrated and annoyed, was he? I wonder if then, at the brief, if this man had any self-awareness at all, he might have a brief window there to work out how annoyed Māori are that their fucking existence is always being politicised by this government. I'm sorry you had to sit through a free Stan Walker performance and it made you feel uncomfortable and annoyed. Sit down and shut the fuck up. He can come on the show and field that statement if you like.
I hate it when you get a really good idea for a guest mid-conversation, but we should try and get John Toogood on tomorrow. Let's talk about politicking and music, shall we? I'll try afterwards.
Let's talk about performative stuff. This guy's had a New Zealand music pin on his lapel the whole month. Good on him. If he hadn't have just shat the bed last week, I'm all for it, right? You are there as a representative of the government. Your job is to sit there, nod, maybe take some photos with some people, and don't shit the bed. And you failed to do that. And then again, we've had our absolute nonce of a Prime Minister come out and go, oh yeah, one of my ministers has been a fucking slaphead, has he? Oh, well, I'm pretty comfortable with it. I had a word with him. Like, it's actually a breach of the cabinet manual. What happened?
Explain that. What exactly has been breached?
We'll remove Chris Bishop. We'll add his breach there. This is from the Cabinet Manual. In all of these roles and at all times, ministers are expected to act lawfully and behave in a way that upholds and is seen to uphold the highest ethical and behavioural standards. This includes exercising a professional approach and good judgment in their interactions with the public, staff, officials, and all their communications, personal and professional. Ultimately, all ministers are accountable to the Prime Minister for their behaviour.
Isn't it lucky that the Prime Minister is a jellyfish? Isn't that nice?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? There are no standards.
Yeah.
Like, I have been to awards dinners for my employers before where I've had too much to drink and someone's had to take me aside and go, Jesus, Chewie, you better put a lid on it. And that's it. You get that. I'm sure you would get that in the levels of business that Luxon has operated in. You keep your shit together, especially if you're in the public eye representing your employer. Why is this good leader that comes from all of this good business leading skills that he's brought to the table because he's not a politician, has somehow missed this and can't take someone aside and go on, you fucking embarrassed us and you've got to eat some pie. You've got to eat some humble pie now.
Yeah, well,
it's a breach of the cabinet manual and the Prime Minister has let him away with it.
Let's get back to it to see what else he does actually say.
As I've said, it's not about Stan Walker. I actually quite like Stan Walker.
And Chris Bishop says he won't be apologising.
There you go. And you just got a little sneak peek of the last story, which I know you're all very excited about. I just
like
think it's.
Stan
I just think
Walker,
the,
actually that's
the
bullshit.
thing that's important about this. Well, important. That maybe that's the wrong word. I have to be honest. I watched the stand up when they were talking about like the 6 minutes of stand up, and the journalist did get a little bit too sort of. But it was the New Zealand Music Awards. You know, like the some of the journalists were a little bit too OTT. It's to me. It's just like, so should we list up? Okay. So if this is an isolated incident in and of itself, he had one drink too many and he said something stupid, fine. But should we line up the 10, 18, 20 months of smashing Māori and Māori issues and Te Tiriti issues that led to this? Because when you do that, when you line up, you know, no, we're going to use English first. When we line up, we're going to take funding away from this. When we line up all these things all the way through and then you get to that comment, you go, it's just another example of what they think of Te Tiriti and Māori in general. I don't think you can look at it any other way. If it was a oncer, you'd go, we all say stupid things with the skin full, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's the next moment in 18 to 20 months of anti-Māori, bashing Māori policy and statements from this government and one of their ministers within it.
I am also going to include the other government minister with sitting in the chair next to him, Paul Goldsmith. What did he say? Did he pull him into line? Did he go, you know, you're sitting there with a colleague who's acting like a dickhead. Do your job. The other thing that I love here, I love about this story, Don McGlashan wades in straight away. He hears it, has no idea who's saying it. Calls it out immediately and tells him to sit down and shut the fuck up.
The dickhead.
He didn't know who it was when he did that.
Yeah.
And then he did work out who it was and didn't back down. Told him to shut up, dickhead, which should be the hashtag that follows anything to do with thebish from now until the election.
Hashtag
Should be on his
thebish.
billboard.
Hashtag shut up, dickhead.
Sit
Hashtag
down,
by
shut
David.
Up, dickhead. Don McGlashan's an absolute champ. And again, the politicisation of music, can we just point out that one of his songs is No Depression in New Zealand, an absolute timeless fucking classic, a heavily political song about the Muldoon government. So, you know, Bishop's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. The tobacco spokesperson, someone that's like, where is his redeeming features, if any? 404, not found.